back to Battle with the Terrible Drapion Flare Sting featuring our Torkoal V and Drapion from Vivid Voltage. So we have our Hazardous Claw doing 130 damage for 4 energies, heavy attack cost here, 3 fire and 1 colorless for Steam Crush doing 120 damage and also discarding 2 energies from opponent's active Pokemon. So this is a very powerful effect that we're trying to use. We actually have to discard 2 energy for this attack as well. Hazardous Claws allow you to poison and paralyze your opponent's active Pokemon each time you use this attack. So which is very useful. That means we actually get to play our Pokemon Go Charizard doing Burn Brightly to basically double up our firepower, giving us twice the amount of fire energy we have in play, which is very useful, especially for this card just because we are discarding every single turn. We are also playing our Magma Basin and Choice Belt, helping us do more damage and also reverse attach from the discard pile onto our fire Pokemon. We can attack with our Charizard as well, in addition to our Torkoal V doing 170 damage with Flare Blitz, discarding all fire energy from this Pokemon. So we have our switch cards ready to go just in case we have our Pokemon stuck inactive. They have very heavy attack cost and also retreat cost. That means we need our switch cards. So we have 1 Escape Rope, 1 Switch and 1 Bird Keeper, and also that 1 Hiding for our Drapion. So for this deck, we plan on using our Torkoal V first, doing Steam Crush for only 2 energies if we get our Charizard out fast. So all we need to do is evolve this card early with our Rare Candy combo, and also that 1 copy of Charmeleon for the stage by stage evolution. So we're playing 2 Torkoals and only 1 Drapion for this deck just because it's much easier for our Torkoal to attack with our Magma Basin since it only works for fire type Pokemons on the bench. So even with Charizard in play, we still need 3 energies for this attack to work just because 2 fire only serves for 4 colorless and it doesn't actually satisfy the darkness energy cost. So pulling off the 3 energy attachment for our first hit with Hazardous Claw is actually pretty difficult. That's why we have 1 Dark Patch, 1 Energy Switch, 1 Raihan and 1 Candela to help us slowly charge up our Drapion V on the bench bit by bit as the game progresses while attacking with our Torkoal. For our draw support, we have 1 Copycat, 2 Marnie, 3 Research, 1 Shauna, 1 Skullgirl, 1 Crobat V and 1 Radiant Greninja. To set up our bench early in the game, we have 1 Capture, 4 VIP Pass, 2 Quick Ball and 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. For the evolution, we have 3 Incense and 2 Ultra Balls. To recycle our Pokemons and energies, we have 1 Onion Rod and 1 Training Court. And finally, we have 1 Manaphy for the bench barrier, 2 Boss Order for the extra power play, 1 basic darkness and 7 basic fire energies. So that's all for the deck list, and be sure to grab yourself some packs from our sponsor at Xtrainer90 Team to build your very own deck from any cards in format. They even sell online codes for character rares, full art and gold cards to expand your collection. So check out the link in the description below or click on the top right corner of this video to enhance your PTCG experience. Use code BTT for 5% off any products to get yourself some lovely cards. And now for the moment of truth, let's go for some gameplays! Okay, let's go for our first game. Versus Eternatus. I'm not too sure. We have an Eternatus game in this video, so don't be too sad if it's not an Eternatus. I think it's something else. Ice Rider probably, there we go. Yeah, first game is always the meta. So Eternatus is kind of off meta for now. I don't know why. Because I think people got bored of it. There's not much options because you get to play all types of dark types, but it's kind of, people are sick of Eternatus, I suppose. Ice Rider is much more powerful in a sense, just because you get to play your Inteleon, Palkia V-Star, you can play Melanie for it as well. We have Dark Patch though, we have Dark Patch for Eternatus now, and also possibly Liepard, and cards like, you know, Hisuian Sneasler. You can play anything with your Eternatus. Even Tyranitar V, Umbreon VMAX. So right now we're up against, no, they don't have Palkia V-Star, fortunately. Because we are only collecting 2 prize for a V-Star knockout, and I don't think we can win against a V-Star, honestly. Because, you know, we are trapping them. We may be able to win if they require 3 energies to attack. Palkia only needs 2 energy, and Dialga needs a lot. So if we can boss the Dialga before, we actually get to hit twice the amount of damage as well, because they are weak towards fire. So Dialga actually cannot survive 1 hit if we hit it as the basic. So if we can boss it early, we got 2 copies of boss in this deck. If we can do it fast, we better be doing it because, you know, they're gonna Metal Saucer and they're gonna time Chronos. We can actually deny them extra Metal Saucers that way. So if they do the Metal Saucer for the first Dialga, like 2 copies, then we can actually waste those 2 by bossing it early for the knockout. So I think Big Charm is going to help them avoid the knockout though, because we're only doing 240 damage, but we have that Choice Belt 2 copies to help us do 300, killing the V card, the basic V with the Big Charm, but not the V-Star with the Big Charm. Okay, let's just focus on Ice Rider right now. So our main concern is obviously to play Drapion as early as we can, because it is now on the bench, but I don't think it's that easy to attack with that Pokemon. They chose not to collect 2 prize. They chose not to play Max Lance to knock out the Crobat, because that would actually give them 2 extra prizes fast, but they can actually collect the knockout with Quick Shoot later. So Quick Shoot for 3 turns. All they need is like 2 Inteleons and 2 turns to knock out the bench, to knock out our Crobat on the bench with Quick Shoot ability. And for us, we actually need to hit with Drapion right now. So if we can do Drapion, it would be better than Torkoal, just because Torkoal is discarding energies and they got Melanie, obviously. If we have Torkoal in the active, they don't need to play a boss, they just need to play a Melanie. So Melanie is going to collect them, give them 2 knockouts, sorry, a 2 prize knockout by discarding only 1 energy. Because we have no Cape of Toughness, no way of adding HP or preventing the knockout against the Torkoal. So they know, they saw the threat of Drapion and they actually stroke it early, but they did not do the knockout. They chose not to kill the Drapion because I don't think they have a Shady Dealings. They don't have a Drizzile level ball in their hand. They're stuck with a dead hand for some reason. Like Shady, I have no idea why they are stuck. They should not be stuck though. Right? Playing a crazy Inteleon deck. Maybe we have much more supporter cards than them. That could be the reason. Much more item cards as well. So we don't have level ball in our deck. And only 3 Incense, 2 Ultra Balls. I don't know why they're not getting their Drizzile. And I have no idea. They actually played a Marnie. So I have no idea why they chose to keep their energies for so many turns. They could actually done 2 prize by now. At least a Crobat knockout or even the Drapion knockout. I don't know why they're saving their energies. So if they played Marnie, if they knock out our Drapion and play Marnie this turn, well, on the next turn, right, then they can't actually attack, but they actually get, they are only passing 1 turn though. They're only passing 1 turn and Torkoal is not doing enough damage for a 2-hit knockout. So we need Drapion to kill the Ice Rider for 2 strikes, or otherwise we would need to hit the Ice Rider with 1 Steam Crush and then 1 Flare Blitz doing Charizard. So Charizard needs to attack. We actually need to use Charizard to do 170 damage for the knockout, because Torkoal is not doing enough damage and the effect is basically useless. They have Melanie, they got so many copies in their deck, they got Shady for the search. So I don't think Torkoal is doing much for this game. Let's just play our Drapion already. And attaching that extra darkness is kind of a mistake, but it is a hiding though. Hiding actually helps us retreat easily. So maybe that could be the reason why I did that. But I don't think it's wise to waste your energies that way, because you have a Rod. You could possibly replay the Drapion on the bench on the next turn by doing like a switch Bird Keeper after the Rod Quick Ball to bench it. So Rod it back, Quick Ball to bench it, and then switch or Escape Rope to attack with another Hazardous Claw by attaching obviously a lot of energies. You actually need like Dark Patch and a Raihan in addition to that 1 fire from your hand, or maybe an energy switch, Dark Patch with a fire or a darkness from your hand. So that's why Training Court is there. We actually get to retrieve our fire or darkness right after discarding them with either our Greninja, Raiding Greninja for the ability draw, or our Hazardous Claw attack. So we may need to discard for Magma Basin as well with our Quick Ball, Ultra Ball if we don't get our Raiding Greninja. So as you can see right now, we have no Greninja. It may be inside the prize and we're not getting our Heavy Ball, so I don't think we can discard that easily. That's why we couldn't play our Magma Basin and we couldn't charge up our Torkoal. So they have the Surge, but I don't think they're playing any switch cards. Because if they have it, they would be doing it. They would be doing a Bird Keeper and Scoop Up Net, because all they need is those 2 cards. They have Air Balloon instead, so we actually got lucky against this particular Ice Rider matchup, because I don't think they play any switch cards, or maybe only 1 or 2 copies, and they're not getting it inside the deck. It could be priced. Or maybe they don't have the Scoop Up Net inside the deck, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they have it though. Like, Inteleon decks play a lot of Scoop Up Nets, and all they need is to switch Scoop, and they actually get to kill the Drapion, and then we are basically screwed because they have 3 prize remaining. So I think it would be wiser if you have item switches in your Ice Rider deck. It's not that, it's not that safe to rely fully on tool cards for the retreat, because your opponent can paralyze you, your opponent can play Tool Jammer, Tool Scrapper to remove that tool card. So tool cards are not really that powerful. Switch only work once, but it can actually do a lot for you, to recover the poison condition, to do a lot of things basically. If they play attacks that forces you to stay in the active, you can't retreat cards like Mean Look Umbreon. You cannot retreat on your opponent's active Pokemon can't retreat on your next turn, and that means you cannot actually play the Air Balloon for the retreat. You have to play Switch Bird Keeper. I don't know why people don't play Bird Keepers in their deck. Bird Keeper is very powerful. It should be in any meta deck for that, for that matter, just because it actually helps you. It helps you collect extra cards into your hand and also do the switch effect. Okay, we are playing a research right now. So we actually had to choose whether to play the Magma Basin or the Training Court. So we couldn't actually discard it on our, before doing the research. That's why we chose to play this Training Court instead, just because if we discard it, it's gone and we can't retrieve anymore. So I would rather play the Magma Basin, honestly, now that I, finished the game. This is actually a pre-recorded audio, post-recorded audio. So playing the Magma Basin first actually allows us to attack with Torkoal on the next turn. So this is a big mistake. Now we actually need a switch card. If we don't get a switch from the prize or something useful, we may not be able to play our Basin for the attack, and Torkoal has to attack on the next turn to be able to earn us enough prizes, right? If we miss one turn on attacking, we're done for. So it's definitely a big mistake keeping playing that Training Court. We should have just discarded it with our research, because we want to be drawing out the Choice Belt. We have to draw the Choice Belt for the knockout. So that's why we play the research. We have no choice. And if we want to be playing the research, we have to consider what to discard from our hand or to play them before discarding it. And we actually chose to play the Training Card, which was a big mistake. Are they going to play a Marnie or a Melanie? So they are one Ice Rider VMAX down. They could have only 2 VMAXs in their deck, or maybe the third one prized. So let's hope they don't get the third one evolved that early, because it is pretty late in the game. But if it is prized though, they may not be able to evolve the third one, and then they can't attack that easily with the basic Ice Rider. And attacking with the active after we hit it with our first strike means we get to collect the knockout with our Charizard. So if they don't switch retreat and attack with the second one, with the third one, my bad, then we are good to go for a second VMAX knockout for the win. So we got 3 prize remaining. All we need to do is kill this Ice Rider in the active, and we're good for the money bag, for the mother load. Okay, we should have put the Crobat though. I don't know why we did the Torkoal. Okay, we have a Copycat. Look at that. A Copycat is helping us a lot because they have so many cards in their hand. They did not play a Marnie. They did not play a Shauna. Now we get to do a Copycat to draw either the Dark Patch. I don't think Dark Patch is going to help because 1 energy is not enough. We need 2 extra energy. So we need fire as well. So Steam Crush requires 3 fire and 1 colorless. That means if you attach 1 fire and 1 darkness is equal to 2 fire and 1 darkness. Is not enough to satisfy the attack cost for Steam Crush. You can do Combustion Pillar for only 90 damage, and that's not enough to kill it even with Choice Belt after that with Charizard. So we need to draw our energy switch because we already have our Magma Basin and we got it. We got it with our Copycat. That's great. So now we're doing energy switch and we even got Boss Order for the next turn. All we need is an extra energy or the escape rope to basically hit the Ice Rider on the next turn. If we draw the Escape Rope somehow with Greninja or something, we can actually do an Escape Rope boss on the next turn. If they don't do a Marnie, obviously. So we're just gonna play our Incense right now. Are we gonna draw first? I'm pretty sure we played a Copycat, so we actually shuffled the deck already. So I'm not sure if we want to shuffle again. I don't think it makes any sense. We don't have any more evolutions in the deck. This is actually a pretty interesting game. We won with a different strategy, as you'll see later on. It's a pretty fun turnout and an unexpected turnout, which is pretty cool to watch. But I won't give any spoilers. I'll just leave you guys on a cliffhanger and, you know, just watch what happens. So we didn't get our Escape Rope, but we did get something better. It's already in our hand if you can see it right now. If you can spot it, it's already in our hand. It's not actually better though, but it actually could work as a substitute for the Escape Rope boss effect. So if they have the second VMAX, we have a boss. If they evolve, retreat, and attack, can they retreat with Ice Rider? I think it's only 2 energy retreat. Oh, it's only 1 energy. 2 energy, my bad. 2 energy retreat. So they may just do Air Balloon retreat and then evolve Melanie or something like that. But if they do Melanie, I don't think they need a Melanie. I think they just need 1 energy from their hand. And then if they play a Marnie, we're totally screwed. If they attack with the third VMAX and do a Marnie, I don't think we can win that easily, because we may be able to draw back the boss if we're lucky. We may be able to draw back the supporter card, that power supporter, to help us target the same VMAX after playing the Escape Rope. So you never know. And they did not get the third VMAX. Okay, now we're not gonna get our Escape Rope. So watch and see what happens. We didn't get our Escape Rope, but we actually did something else which works just as well and gave us the knockout. So we won this Ice Rider game playing, instead of Escape Rope boss, we did our Candela. Candela gave us that extra 1 energy. It is pretty risky though. It is very risky for sure, but we had no choice. We didn't get our Escape Rope. We have no way of drawing it out, because boss already is a supporter card. You cannot actually draw your Escape Rope with a supporter, otherwise you cannot play a boss. So we chose to do Candela, and we got a heads. We got a lucky heads, and we actually get to do Basin for double energy attachment on the bench without attaching from our hand, and we get to do the attachment onto our active from the hand for the retreat cost, essentially doing our Flare Blitz without an Escape Rope or a boss. And we killed the Ice Rider VMAX with an unconventional Pokemon Go card, Candela. I love that. I mean, I'm so happy that we get to pull that off. Candela is so difficult to play just because you are flipping a coin and you never know what you're gonna get from the top 2 cards of your deck. You're only drawing 2 cards, but you at least get to attach that extra 1 energy if you're lucky, which is gonna help you a lot if you can, get it at some point in the game. If you're playing more than 1 copy of Candela, you may be able to get at least 1 energy into the game at some point. So I would prefer playing at least 2 copies, but I don't think it's that powerful of a supporter. I don't think we have the space for that. Just because we are only drawing 2 cards, I don't think it's smart to play more than 1 copy. So I eventually decided to just cut down to 1. And we have 1 Raihan for Drapion, or even Torkoal, or even Charizard. We also have 1 energy switch, 1 dark patch for Drapion. So it's not too bad. We have a lot of options. And now we're up against Eternatus. Eternatus VMAX with Dark Patch. They're playing a lot of Dark Patch in their deck, and we actually tried to keep on discarding all of their energies, but it did not work. It did not work. Drapion actually helped us a lot for this game, surprisingly. But early on, they actually couldn't do much though. They got stuck just because of our Steam Crush. So playing that attack, discarding their energies, actually forces them to get their Dark Patch and the Switch card as well, just because Dark Patch only allows you to attach your bench Pokemon. So if you have energy in your discard pile, Dark Patch allows you to attach it from your discard pile onto your bench Darkness Pokemon, as we all know. If you're not familiar with that card, I'm just explaining it. And then attach 1 extra energy from your hand. You're good to go for the VMAX to attack, killing our Torkoal with 1 hit, killing our Drapion. Anything across the board is dead if they do Eternal Zone. Sorry, Dread End. The attack is called Dread End, my bad. So we can kill the Hoopa if we get the Charizard Rare Candy. We actually have it in our hand already, so if they don't play a Marnie, we're good to go. They're only doing 90 damage, so they chose to attack with Assault Gate. Because they are preparing for Steam Crush. They know what we're up to. They are pretty smart. They know that we are trying to discard energies from the Eternatus. So if they invest energy on that active, expecting for a knockout, not expecting for the energy discard, they would be in for a surprise. So we got our rare candy early in the game. Now we get to do a knockout for one prize at least. And then after that, all we need is a VMAX knockout and a Crobat V knockout. It's not that easy to kill a Crobat though. If we get an energy from the top deck, a fire energy. If we get a darkness energy, it's not going to work. If we get a capture, no. So it has to be a fire energy from the top card of your deck. If you discard a fire with combustion pillar from the top of your deck, you got to do a 180 base damage with that attack for only 2 fire. And that's enough to kill the Crobat for 2 extra prizes. It's not that easy to play that attack. Obviously, we need Oranguru, Switching Cups, stuff like that to put fire energy from the top deck with Trading Card as well from our hand onto the top deck. Or even Rotom Phone and Expedition Uniform. Okay. What are they gonna do now? They're stuck. Right? They're stuck for one turn unless if they bench a Sableye. If they bench a Sableye out of nowhere and then Dark Patch, we are basically screwed. So you never know what they're gonna play, honestly, with an Eternatus. They could do anything. But they actually attach from their hand to the Eternatus this turn, a capture. That means if they don't play an energy switch, they can't kill our Torkoal. They need an energy switch. So did the Dark Patch. Now they can draw even more cards with Crobat. I think they already played their Crobat this turn. I'm not too sure. Is that the Crobat from the last turn? So they did their supporter card. No boss, but they did a Marnie. Are they going to get the energy switch? They still need to bench a few more cards though. How much do they need? They're doing 30 base, I think. So I think it's 30x. So 270 max damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's more than enough. It's more than enough. All they need is 4 really. Right? All they need is 4. So they already had enough. They don't really need to bench anything, but I guess they need to draw with the Crobat to get the energy switch out. They may not have that card though. They may have instead like a lot of switch cards. So they shouldn't be putting the Eternatus into the active because I'm pretty sure they have Scoop Up Net, right? They have a Zigzagoon on the bench. They should be putting the Zigzagoon into the active and then evolve the Eternatus VMAX on the bench, Dark Patch, and then switch or Scoop Up Net, and you actually get to attack with the VMAX, right? That was quite a silly mistake because I know they have Scoop Up Nets in their deck. Playing Zigzagoons, I know they have a lot of nets. Even if you have 2 copies of Scoop Up Net, because you actually need to fit in a lot of basic Darkness Pokemon. So even if you have only 2 copies, you're probably more likely to get either a Switch or a Scoop Up Net than the Switch card. Putting your V Pokemon in the active is quite silly. So I don't think they actually made the right move on the last turn. But it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes at some point. Nobody's perfect. So we played a Marnie, I think. Or did they play a Marnie? I don't know. I think we played a Marnie. And then we got like a trash hand right now. No energy for Greninja to draw. No energy for Drapion to attack on the next turn. So if they evolve right now, we're done for. I don't know what to do. I don't think they got it though. They did a boss instead. Okay. 30 damage. Power Accelerator. If they have an energy in their hand, it would be quite bad. So they are playing a lot of energies for some reason. I don't know why, but they have more energies than I expected. Because all they need is two energies to attack, and they got so many dark pads. So I don't think they should be playing that many. I don't think it's necessary. But for some reason, they actually are prepared for Torkoal. The continuous discard, the mad discard, because we're discarding 2 energy every single turn, which is kind of a lot. Even like 4 copies of Dark Patch, they're gonna, it's gonna run out eventually, right? So no more Crobats, they cannot draw with that ability anymore, so they're stuck. No supporter cards, stuck for 1 turn, and they did a Dark Patch onto the bench, so now we have to decide whether to kill the active and then somehow kill another VMAX for the win. It's quite difficult to kill the VMAX though. We need 2 strikes still, because even with Choice Belt on the Drapion, we're only doing 170 damage. Passing the turn, if they don't retreat, if they don't get their switch card, if they get paralyzed, then we get to hit them a second time though. But if they do, then we're only hitting 170 with the poison condition. So Choice Belt on the Charizard is doing 200 damage, and that's still not enough to kill the Eternatus on the bench, because it has 340 HP, which is a lot. The highest HP VMAX Pokemon. I'm quite surprised that Zacian and Zamazenta has no VMAX. A bit sad. There's gonna be Zacian and Zamazenta V-Star, but why are they not giving them a VMAX? It just boggles the mind, doesn't it? Do they have a Dynamax for the VG? I'm pretty sure they have a Dynamax for the VG, right? I think any Pokemon can Dynamax. Dynamax Evolve. Is it an evolution? I don't. It's just a transformation, right? I don't think it's an evolution. I don't play the VG. I don't play the Sword and Shield game. Sorry, guys. I'm not too familiar because I don't own a Nintendo Switch, and it's way too expensive. I would rather spend my money on packs and play the TCG because it's so much more. There's more strategy involved, in my opinion, and you get to play online more often against other players, which is pretty cool. And you don't have to train your Pokemons. I think that's pretty ridiculous that you have to train your Pokemons. Like, what? It's boring. I don't like to do that. Like, battle, level up one level at a time. That's just boring. No, I don't want to do that. TCG, you get to just buy those cards. You get to just, trade for them. Collect your coins. It's kind of the same as trading, I suppose. You have to collect your coins. Collect your tickets to go to the tournament, win your tradable packs to trade for rare holo cards. So it's kind of the same in a way, but it's actually much more fun because, it's less boring because you don't have to fight the same Pokemon all the same time. But you actually have to fight the same meta decks though, right? You have to go through the same meta decks on the ladder if you want to earn your tickets. So it's kind of the same thing, I suppose. You cannot run away from that. There's always a meta for every game, which is kind of sickening. And a lot of people love playing meta decks. Like, people are power crazy. They don't really care about creativity. They don't really care about challenging themselves. They don't care about, being smart and cheating the system, finding, that delicious win, finding a cheat code for the game. They don't really care about that. They just care about winning fast and winning big. So Arceus V-Star all the way. I've seen Arceus V-Star with Duraludon so many times. It's so fucking sickening because they get to play so many supports. Starbird, they get to play so many supports, so many switch cards, so many draw support, so many choice belt. Like, it's crazy. They got so many supports. They have so much space for extra cards that they don't even need to play anything else, and they would have the highest chance of winning. That's how broken Arceus V-Star Duraludon is. It's just unfair. They have so much space. And here we are doing 120 damage at a time. Not doing a 2-hit knockout against Arceus, which is just painful because they have a big charm. Like, it's just, oh my goodness. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to talk about it. Arceus is fucking annoying. And they even got Dunsparce and Sharon. Can you believe it? Way too broken, yo. Way too fucking broken. They need to bring back Silent Lab. Like, they need to bring back Silent Lab so bad. Because it actually blocks off Menifee, it blocks off a lot of things. It blocks off Regidrago's ability, Regigigas, it blocks off all the one prize deck, Snorlax, Amazing Jirachi, nothing works, right? Mew, Celebrations Mew cannot use his ability, Dunsparce doesn't work, no Zigzagoon. They need to bring back Silent Lab. They need to. I would be all up for it. Like, who else is up for it? Please drop it in the comments. Please let us know. Because I'm so psyched for a Silent Lab. I don't care if it shuts down our Radiant Pokemon's ability. I don't really care. Like, there should be a new card, a new stadium that says, you know, that does Empoleon's effect. Empoleon V's ability should be transformed into a stadium card. Because then it actually allows for Radiant Pokemon to use their ability, but not basic Pokemons. You know, basic one prize. So you still get to play Crobat V, Luminion, if you play that stadium or whatever. There's so many ways to create new cards, but they are not giving us a lot of options. Like, I don't know why they are being so restrictive. It's pretty annoying. Like, if you have so many abilities that end your turn, you know, even item cards, Camping Gear, I don't see anyone using that card just because it's totally unusable. Camping Gear is totally unusable. Nobody uses that. Like, come on, search your deck for any one card, put it into your hand, and then end your turn. What are you gonna do? A Milotic? Are you gonna play a Milotic and then Camping Gear? You're gonna waste a whole turn just to search for one card. Like, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna play Camping Gear. They need to come up with something, a stage 2 ability or something that helps you, you know, keep on playing, that reverses the effect of, you know, ending your turn. So if you have a, you know, the first time you play a card or ability that ends your turn does not end, you know, that it needs to be a stage 2 ability. It needs to become a stage 2 ability. Like, we have so many things, so many abilities, Greeting Cells, Dream Gift. Dream Gift is a very powerful ability. If it doesn't end your turn, I would love to use that so much. Sylveon V has a lot of potential. Search your deck for an item card, put it into your hand and then end your turn. I love that. Bush Shake, Camping Gear. We have so many cards that end your turn. Zacian V, Roar of the Sword, like, end your turn. Intrepid Sword as well. Let's not forget that. And also, Regal Stance from Zamazenta V, Brilliant Stars, also ends your turn. Discard your hand and draw 5 cards. So if you get to play a stage 2 ability that actually preserves your turn, after using that one effect, you know, it only works once. Obviously, it's kind of the same as Will. If you play like Will, the effect only works for your first coin flip. So I would suggest like a stage 2 ability that only works for your first turn. You know, the first turn end effect, it reverses that first effect. And then for your next one, if you use Greeting Cells with that stage 2 ability, and then you obviously you can't use it more than once for, you know, you can't stack that ability if you have it in play. So if you have 2 stage 2 in play, you cannot stack it. You cannot use both Greeting Cells and then still have, you know, your turn not ended. That would be pretty cool. I'm just saying, it would be pretty cool to play Greeting Cells and then continue attacking right after using the ability. I'm just saying. We don't have a proper psychic support, so Roar of the Sword, and then attach an extra energy for Whimsicott, Roar of the Sword with double turbo, or even Roar of the Sword experience share for Typhlosion V-Star. That would be really cool. Like, you know, if your turn doesn't end playing that ability, you get to attack. There's so many cards though, so many things, even Blastoise now. Blastoise from Pokemon Go ends your turn. I mean, it's crazy. Why isn't there something? Or like discard your hand, you know, there a supporter card, discard your hand and then use that effect, you know. The next time you play a card, you know, the next time you play a Pokemon's ability that ends your turn does not end, but you have to discard your entire hand. Something like that, you know, a supporter card, I don't care, a stadium card, a Pokemon's ability, stage 2, whatever. It needs to happen. Like, where is it? I've been waiting for so long. I'm not seeing anything from Lost Origin, nothing from Incandescent Arcana. Not yet, obviously, the set is not coming, but it's not fully revealed. But I'm so hoping for that. I'm so hoping for that ability. It's so confined. Like, everything is so tight now. We used to have Skyfield. Like, now we have Eternal Zone. Are you serious? It only works for Darkness Pokemon. There's nothing to add bench spots. Like, there's no cards to add bench spots now. Nothing but Skyfield for Expanded. But Standard, we have nothing. And Frostmoth is going to get rotated, so they better be coming up with a proper water support. For one price, there's going to be a Swim Freely for the next set. So Swim Freely, I suppose, is a substitute for Frostmoth, but it doesn't really work that well though. You need a stage 2, you need like Lumineon, or at least, you know, if you play nothing but Finneon and Lumineon, yes, you get to put in a lot of energies, a lot of water energies onto your Lumineon, just because it has the Swim Freely attack. And then, so if you guys don't already know, that ability actually works for you to attach as many water energy as you like from your hand. You know, as often as you like during a turn, attach a water from your hand to any of your Pokemon that has the Swim Freely attack, and you get to use it for your Dewgong. Obviously, Dewgong actually has the attack that allows you to, the 2 energy attack, allowing you to shuffle all water energy, you know, as much water energy as you like from your Pokemon back into the deck for 40x damage each. And then, you know, it's kind of the same as the rocket launcher from Blastoise GX. I'm not too sure what the attack is called. I forgot the attack. But it's a 1 price now. They're bringing back Blastoise GX as a 1 price, which is pretty cool. I quite like that card. And, you know, there's no other cards that allow you to attach energy for water. And for water, it only works for those cards. So if you have, for example, a Lumineon and a Finneon in play, you get to attach all of your water. You get to basically charge up your Lumineon, but not your other water Pokemon. How are you going to transfer those energies to your other water Pokemon? That is the question, right? That is the key. Because otherwise, we cannot charge up other water types for 1 price. We have no supports. There is going to be a Klinklang though. There's going to be a Klinklang from Lost Abyss, I think. Lost Origin. I'm not sure if it's in Lost Origin, but it's going to be in Lost Abyss. So the English set is a bit different from the Japanese, and you have no idea what cards is going to get cut. So Klinklang may not be in the next set. Klinklang is a stage 2 that allows you to search your deck for 3 basic energy attached to your Pokemon in any way you like. As you evolve that card from your hand. So Klinklang is pretty cool because you get to search for any 3 basic energy. That means you get to search for 3 different types, or like 2 of the same type and 1 different. For your Dragon type Pokemon, you get to search for Psychic energies for your Psychic type Pokemon, Fighting energies, or even Water energies for your Golduck, something like that. You know, Klinklang is pretty cool. You get to charge up any Pokemon across the board, but obviously it's better to play a stage 2 with basic. If you play a stage 2 with stage 1, it's not going to work that well. Stage 2 with basic is the best. So I would recommend doing that. We actually got a Zinnia. Look at that. At the very last second, we got a Zinnia, but we already won the game. So we don't need to play that. We actually don't have a Zinnia for the final list. The final upgrade of this deck, of the deck list, doesn't have a Zinnia. Just because I prefer playing less discards. If we discard too many things that we need, we have no way of recycling those cards. We only have 1 Rod and 1 trading card. If we discard too many energies, we cannot use it anymore. We're stuck. I actually got a game where I got stuck because I have no energies left, and I couldn't attack with my Drapion because Drapion needs to keep on discarding that fire. You need to keep on attaching a fire from your hand. So that's the bad thing about Drapion, is that, you know, it's not doing enough damage for a one-hit knockout, so you better be attacking at least twice for a single copy, for at least 1 VMAX or V-Star knockout, you know, because you get to paralyze every single turn, which is pretty cool. But that 1 paralysis is going to help you. If you get to buy that extra 1 turn with the paralysis effect, it's going to speak a lot for you. It's going to help you a lot for the game. Choice Belt is going to help us even more, obviously. And we actually got our first knockout on the Ice Rider for the first game. Pulling the Choice Belt late. We actually attached the Choice Belt on our second strike. So we did Hazardous Claw without the Choice Belt first, and then with the Choice Belt later. And the second hit with the Choice Belt actually is enough, just because Poison actually gave us enough damage counters for the knockout. So we did 130 for our first strike, and then Poison, you know, Pokemon Checkup gives us like 3 extra damage counters passing the turn, and that's equal to 160 damage. And if we attach a Choice Belt, that's 160 more. So that's exactly enough to kill the Inteleon. Sorry, the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. Am I doing the math correctly? I think so. I'm pretty sure we have 1 extra damage counter though. We have like 10 extra damage on the Ice Rider VMAX. But I'm not sure if we're doing the math correctly. So let's just play our Marnie right now. I'm not sure if we should be doing Candela or Marnie. I don't think we have a discarded fire energy, so let's just do Marnie. It's better to draw big early in the game, especially if you need a good setup. And if you haven't evolved your Charizard, you better be drawing big cards. You better be drawing a lot of cards to your hand. And that's why we don't have that many Marnies in this deck. So Copycat for the big draw, if they play cards like Chinchino, Liepard, you know, what else? Shadow Rider, Calyrex VMAX, if they keep on drawing from the deck and not shuffling cards back, then we actually get to play Copycat to draw a big amount, and then that actually guarantees us the Rare Candy Evolution, turn 2. Possibly, obviously, we may not be, you know, we may not be able to do it until our 3rd turn, maybe, because they are not probably gonna use Chinchino's ability until the 3rd turn. Until our 3rd turn. So here comes Max Thunder Rumble. We didn't get our Menifee. We chose to draw the Crobat for the draw instead. I think we got a VIP for Charmander and Drapion. I don't know what we got on our first turn. I forgot. Sorry guys. I should be paying more attention. Now we got Ultra Ball, Incense, and they helped us. They actually gave us a reset with that Marnie, which is a good thing. Which is a very good thing. Except we have no fire now. Oh, we actually drew a fire energy and a boss. And a research. My bad. A research is really good right now. It's really, really helping us because that's really what we need. You know, if we get our Menifee, I'll be very happy. But if we get the Rare Candy Evolution, even better. So we need a Choice Belt. Because if we get our Choice Belt, we just need 2 hits to kill the Jolteon. It's only 300 HP. And the VMAX is dead with 2 strikes. I don't think they're playing that many energies. So we actually discarded their energy on the next turn. And they couldn't attach after that, which is pretty sad. I think they attached to the bench though. I'm not sure what they did. I forgot actually. I'm not sure what happened. So let's just see what they're going to do after the discard. We got the Charizard obviously, because we played a research. So right now we just need to attach the fire from our hand. Are we going to do the Magma Basin? We're not going to discard the fire. Obviously we're going to play the Basin, but are we going to discard the fire? We're not going to take the risk. I don't think we're going to take the risk because we have our Ultra Ball, Quick Ball. And if we got a fire from the 7th draw, we can actually discard that fire energy with our Quick Ball, Ultra Ball. If we don't get the fire, after discarding with our Magma, with Research, and then doing the Magma Basin onto the bench, we actually cannot attack with the active. Because we have no fire energies. And as you can see now, it was a wise decision after all, because we didn't do a single fire energy. So at least we got 120 damage in. No choice belt. Pretty bad. So even Flare Blitz is not going to collect the knockout. But if we do Flare Blitz with the choice belt, it's actually enough. So 200 damage with our Charizard against the VMAX is going to collect us our first 3 prize. But if we attack with Charizard though, it's going to get killed on the next turn. So I think it's better not to attack with the Charizard. So they actually attached to the bench. Pretty confident they're going to get the VMAX. They got the energy, my bad. So they actually have sufficient energies in their deck. But we eventually discarded over and over until they ran out of their energies. I don't think we even did that many Steam Crush, but they got stuck eventually. Because I don't think they're playing that many. They have a lot of tool cards because they only need 1 energy for the attack. So if they don't get it every single turn, they're done. And they may not be that, concerned with getting energies every single turn because Jolteon only needs 1 and it doesn't get knocked out that easily. Fighting type is not that popular now. So Jolteon is probably going to stay alive for at least 1 more turn. And they got Cheryl with Shady Dealing, so I don't think it's that high priority to get the lightning energy, but they do need to reattach though. If they heal with Cheryl, they do need to reattach the lightning. So I think it's kind of a medium priority. I don't know. They may have like only 9 copies of the basic lightning and 1 special speed energy. There we go. They didn't get the VMAX. They got a bit too cocky. Didn't get the VMAX. So now they're gonna need an extra turn to kill the Torkoal, because Torkoal is gonna stay alive for this turn. And all we need to do now is charge up our Drapion, prepare it to attack. I think we actually charge up our Torkoal instead. I think it would be smarter to attack with Drapion though, because Drapion is doing a little bit more damage, and also trapping them in the active. If they don't get their switch card, they need Shady, and they got 1 last Shady. If they don't do Scoop Up Net on the next turn, they may not have any more Shady dealings to search for the switch or Birdkeeper Escape Rope, and they actually got, we are forcing them to get stuck for that 1 turn in the active, collecting the knockout against the VMAX on the next turn. So we cannot kill the VMAX right now. The Jolteon on the bench has only 12 damage counters on it. We need 18 more. I don't think it's that easy. We need a choice belt on the Charizard, and we cannot afford to expand that card just because we need the ability dearly. So if they kill the Charizard, I don't think it's that easy though, because they need Quick Shoot, a couple more turns of Quick Shoot, and like 100 more damage with the Max Thunder Rumble, and we just bench a Manaphy, which is great news. So Manaphy means they need a boss to kill the Charizard now. And if they kill the Charizard, we are actually pretty much screwed, because we got no second Charmander on the bench. And we need an extra whole turn to bench and re-evolve it. 2 more turns actually, to where I can evolve the second one. And they may just kill it before we get to do that. So they may just took the bait and kill the Manaphy instead, but they just passed another turn. They just passed another turn, not getting their Shady Dealings, not getting a supporter card, not getting their second VMAX. Or even an energy. So what are we going to do right now? Are we going to play our boss, Birdkeeper? Are we going to play the training court? Probably do the training court, right? We need to play the Rod at some point, because Charizard is going to die. It's, you never know when that card is going to die. And once it dies, we need a lot more energies to attack. It's going to be that much more difficult. So we actually gambled on Combustion Pillar. If we get a discard, if we get that lucky fire discard, we could actually do 180 damage for the knockout, which is just nice to kill the Jolteon, which is pretty interesting. We wanted to do 180 but couldn't do it. We couldn't manage to pull off that special effect just because we only have that many, very few copies of Fire Energy in the deck. So we may not be able to do it, but we at least get to kill it right now. They paused another turn though. They did nothing for so long. They paused so many turns doing nothing. It's quite bizarre because they're playing so many Shadies. So if they do a scuba net on the Inteleon on the last turn, they still couldn't do it. They need to get an incense for the Shady. So incense is not that easy to get, because they only got 4 copies and they may need to spend a few for the VMAX. So if they use the incense for the VMAX, they may not have enough for the Inteleon anymore. So that's why I say it's much easier always to evolve your Drizzile than your Inteleon. So it's always best practice if you're playing an Inteleon tech to play more Sobble and Drizzile than your Inteleon. Like, people keep playing 3 copies of the Shady Inteleon. I don't think that's smart. Like, 1 or 2 of the Shady Stage 2 Shady is good enough. I would recommend 1 actually. 1 Inteleon Shady Dealings and 1 Quick Shoot Inteleon is enough, but you actually need at least 3 copies of Drizzile Sobble to keep your system going. To keep your momentum running, you need that engine. You need that level ball engine, because you're gonna need your incense to evolve your VMAX, your V-Star. You cannot rely on incense for your Shady Dealings to work just because it's that difficult. If you got your incense for Inteleon, you may have a few prized, and you may not be able to search for your second incense for your VMAX, for your next VMAX. Right? You only have that much incense to spare, and you cannot be spending them for your Inteleons. So level ball is always better. So that's why I would recommend playing 4 copies actually. 4 copies of Sobble Drizzile, and like 1 copy of the Shady Inteleon, 1 Quick Shoot, or maybe no Quick Shoot and 2 Shady. You never know if that's gonna work better, because we have Blastoise though. Radiant Blastoise requires Water Energy discard, so if you don't play Water Energy, Jolteon does not. I don't think they get to play Water Energy because they need Lightning for the attack. Is reduced by 1 colorless, not 1 lightning. So Elemental Badge only requires 1 less colorless for the attack cost of your Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. That means they still need that specific type, and they are not able to play Water type energy for Pump Shot, for Blastoise to do Pump Shot. So I suppose Quick Shoot Inteleon is kind of necessary. I don't think you can run away from that playing a Jolteon deck. We got 2 prizes remaining, and we actually did the biggest gamble of our life. We played our Hazardous Claw with the boss on the Crobat. So if they switch right now, they can do a Marnie and then kill us. Well, they can't kill us. They can't actually kill us. They need to do a boss to kill the Torkoal. So they got 4 prizes remaining. They need to deal with the Menifee. They need to do a lot of stuff, really. I think they actually did a triple Inteleon, a triple Quick Shoot. So as you can see, they are playing, as you will see later, actually, very soon later. There we go. They actually have 3 Quick Shoot Inteleon. That's why they didn't get their supporter cards. They couldn't search for the trainer because they're not playing any. I don't think they have any Shady Dealings Inteleon in their deck, or even in the prize. You never know. They may not even play it. So 6 damage counter, not enough to kill the Menifee, and they just conceded because they got no switch. And even if they do, they need to play a Marnie right after because we have a boss in our hand. So you never know what your opponent is playing. You never know what your opponent has in their hand. So Marnie could actually give your opponent a boss. Marnie could actually help you against your opponent already having one in their hand. So you never know what's going to happen. That's why, I hate being in that situation. I do get in that jam sometimes myself. I get in that spot where I have to play a Marnie. I have to decide whether to play it or not against that very last, countdown at the final hour of the game, where that one boss order is gonna earn our opponent that win. If you play a Marnie, they may just draw it out. If you don't play a Marnie, they may already have it in their hand. So you never know what's the best thing to do. That is a shit feeling. That's just the worst feeling in your entire life. There's nothing like choosing whether to play a Marnie, right? No other feeling in this world can compare to Marnie. Like one word, Marnie. It speaks volumes, guys. Marnie is such a bitch. Such a fucking bitch. She can kill you on your second turn. on your opponent's first turn, right? Turn 2, destroy your hand. She can kill you late stage in the game. She can just, whenever at any point in the game, just show up at the wrong time and destroy your life. Marnie is crazy. There's gonna be a Spelunker though. I don't know if that's the real name for the English format, but Spelunkers allow you to search the bottom, my bad. Search the bottom 3 cards of your deck for 1 card and put it into your hand. If you discard, I think if you discard 2 cards from your hand, or maybe 1 card, I'm not too sure, you actually get to look at the top 7, sorry, the bottom 7 cards of your deck instead and search for 1 card put into your hand. It's only 1 card though, it's pretty sad, because Spelunkers is a supporter, and if you're playing a supporter, you better be searching for at least 2 cards, right? Because Opal allows you to search for 2 cards, Kindler allows you to search for 2 cards, Silene allows you to flip coins, flip 2 coins for, 2, basically, put 2 cards from your discard pile onto the top of your deck. So it's always in 2s, but Spelunkers is only 1 copy, which is just terrible. It's terrible for a supporter card. I think you flip a coin. I think you're flipping a coin as well. If you flip a heads, you get to look at the top. I keep saying top, sorry guys. You get to look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck. If you flip a tails, you only get to look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck. And then search for 1 card, put it into your hand. I need to slow down, right? You only get to look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck. I can't articulate if I'm speaking too fast. I'm just not built for that. Some people, they have that skill. I just don't have it. Sorry, guys. I'm just not built for it. It is a skill, though. I really admire people who could do that. Little Dark Fury can do that. I just can't. Takes like years of practice, I suppose. So right now we're up against a Galarian Slowking. A Slowking VMAX with a Galarian Chestplate and a Abomasnow. So Abomasnow adds HP, 50 HP for your single strike Pokemon, and Chestplate reduces damage done to it by 30 more. And that is actually raising the amount of damage that you need to do against that VMAX by that much more. If you don't play a fighting type, it's a poison, it's only weak to its fighting. If you don't play a fighting, you need 390 damage to kill that VMAX. I think it's 320. So that means 320 plus 50 is 370 plus 30. So you need 400, my bad. You need 400 damage to kill the VMAX Pokemon, which is crazy, right? It's the highest. As opposed to maybe Tornadus. I don't know about Tornadus. Tornadus is probably the best though, because you get to deny your opponent from playing weakness. Tornadus has Dance Bars, Sharon, Single Strike Slowking got Galarian Chestplate, but we have our, let's not forget Colossal VMAX has Stone Energy as well. So there are a lot of things, a lot of ways to play this game. But if you play Colossal with full face guard, you're only reducing reducing damage by 80. But it is 10 extra HP for the base. So it would essentially be, for example, if you have 3 Stone Energy and a full face guard attached, your opponent would need 410 damage, right? We used to have Heavy Boots. Is it called Heavy Boots? I forgot what it's called. Something Boots. It raises the HP of your Pokemon. It's a tool card that allows you to add HP by 50 on any Pokemon that has 4 energy retreat cost. So Colossal VMAX has 4 energy retreat, and people keep playing that, for Sun and Moon, for the Sun and Moon generation. Before pre-rotation, people keep playing Colossal VMAX with the boots, and it actually works really well because you have 50 extra HP, and then you get to play Stone Energy, and you get to reduce even more damage, which is crazy. So this is kind of the same as that deck. We are raising 50 HP with Abomasnow instead, which is a stage 1, and as you can see, it's not working too well because they're playing so many stage 1 supports. They have a VMAX and 2 different stage 1 Pokemon. It's not going to work that well because you need to fit in so many Pokemon, so many basic setups, so many Incense and Ultra Balls now. I don't think you have the space for that. They got no draw support by that Crobat. So Crobat, you need to be playing 2 copies. And if you play 2 copies, you don't have the bench spot for your other supports. So they only need 1 Houndoom though. They should not be benching a second Houndour. I don't know why they're benching a second Houndour. I think they are expecting the first one to get knocked out, because the first one was in the active spot, I suppose. So now they're stuck. Now they're stuck. They got no support cards because they have way too many Pokemons in the deck. Abomasnow, probably 2 copies. And Houndoom, maybe 2 or 3. I would recommend 2 copies of Houndoom and 1 Abomasnow, right? Even if you don't have Abomasnow, your opponent still needs 350 damage, which is a lot. Which is still a lot to kill the Slowking VMAX. But you are reducing 20 HP though with Single Strike Roar. If you roar onto your Slowking, you actually have to place 2 damage counters on it. So let's not forget that you are reducing 20 HP with your Houndoom. Your opponent play Crushing Hammer or cards like Steam Crush. You actually have to keep on roaring for the energy, and you are reducing his HP bit by bit. So we don't need that much damage. We just need 350 to kill it. So I think 3 strikes is enough. So now we actually need to retreat or do a Bird Keeper, because they poison us. We got the switch though, so now we just need to do another Steam Crush for the knockout. 90 damage is enough. They didn't get their Abomasnow, so we don't need that much damage. If they got the Abomasnow, we would need 20 more damage. So Bird Keeper, retreat, and then Magma Basin to reattach the energy. And then on the next turn, all we need to do is attach another one onto the Torkoal to attack again without break, or even do Flare Blitz for 170 damage. But I would recommend always to play your other Pokemon to attack. Always attack with Torkoal or Drapion first, and then do your Charizard last, just because if your Charizard dies, you cannot use the ability anymore. That means Torkoal and Drapion cannot attack, they are stuck. So Charizard needs to stay in the game for the entirety of the game. If you have a second Charizard, you may be able to use the first one to attack. So if you don't have a second Charizard, if you have no means to evolve the second one at any point in the game, if you can see, if you can predict an evolution for your next turn, then possibly attack with your first one right now, and then all you need to do is research for a Rare Candy or even Raihan to evolve your second Charizard once the first one gets knocked out on your opponent's next turn. So if you can do that, then go ahead and go for it. But if you can't, it's always better to keep your Charizard on the bench and have it safely stay there, stay alive for as long as you can. So we actually killed the VMAX, and I think we killed another V card. Now they're down to 1 price, and they still got no supporter cards. Still no supporters, look at that. Not even a Crobat. That is quite sad. So we actually did a boss because we got 2 copies in this deck. Not quite unlikely to get it. We even got our Greninja for the draw. And an extra energy to do Steam Crush, killing the Snubber before it even evolves. And it's dead. 120 is not actually enough to kill the Houndoom, even without Abomasnow's toughness boost. So toughness boost is pretty annoying just because it raises all your single strike Pokemon's HP. That means your Houndoom has 180 HP, which is pretty ridiculous. And your Banette, your every other single strike Pokemon, I don't think you would be playing that with for a Slowking deck. What other darkness? Morpeko, single strike. There are not a lot of single strike supports. Emboar single strike. So I only see Pinsir, Emboar, and Houndoom as supports, and not many people play Pinsir. Pinsir actually allows you to cut through the resistance, so your attacks done by your single strike Pokemon is not affected by your opponent's active Pokemon's resistance. That means you're not hitting less damage. You're not reducing damage done by resistance if you attack with a single strike Pokemon with your Pinsir in play. So right now we're up against a Galarian Surfetch deck. They got double Zapdos, the V card, and also the one prize Zapdos that allows you to charge it up with the Strong Legs ability. So Strong Legs Charge allows you to attach 2 extra fighting energy from your hand onto your Zapdos as you put it into play onto your bench. And then you get to attach another one from your hand on your turn. That means it's essentially 3 energies, and then all you need to do is retreat or switch for you to play your Surfetch or even Widear to attack. So we actually built a Zapdos Widear deck. If you guys want to check it out, it's in our channel. Go ahead to that section, our channel, and you can find it. You know, Zapdos with Surfetch is pretty popular, but Zapdos with Widear is quite interesting. So if you want to watch how well that works, go ahead, check it out. It's pretty powerful, actually much better than your, you know, much better than Surfetch just because it has no limit. You know, you get to do 40x damage for each energy attached to your Widear. That means there's no limit to how much damage you get to play with that attack. And Frontier Road is the same ability as your Surfetch, only you get to transfer any energies. You get to transfer any special energy, any basic energy, anything. Whereas with your Surfetch, you only get to transfer fighting energy. That means you get to transfer Aurora, you get to transfer Impact, you know, Fusion Strike energy. But obviously, if you transfer those to your Surfetch, you're gonna end up discarding those energies because your Surfetch is not a single strike, Fusion Strike, or Rapid Strike. So if you transfer those cards onto your Surfetch, it's gonna get discarded. So we actually did a Bay. So Bay actually helps us discard the top 5 cards of the deck and attach any amount of energies you discarded onto your bench fighting type Pokemon. And that means we get to play that supporter to charge up our Zapdos, not only from our hand, just because if we have enough energies for Zapdos in our hand, we actually get to play Strong Legs Charge and a Bay to add even more energies into the game, and then switch or retreat, transfer everything to Widear to do up to 320 damage if we have 8 energies attached. All we need is 8 energies in the game for Widear to do a VMAX knockout. So 8 energies is a lot though, so for the first turn you may not be able to pull that off. If you go second on your first turn, you may be able to do a V knockout with only 5 energies. So if you have, well, 6 energies, my bad. You actually need 6 energies, so it's not that easy though. If you do Strong Legs Charge, you actually need 3 energies in your hand and a Bay to discard the top 5 cards. And if you're lucky enough to get 3 discards, 3 energy discards, you can attach them to your Zapdos. But in addition to that, you actually need a switch. You need to do a switch or retreat with your active Zapdos. If your Zapdos is not in the active spot, you cannot play it from your hand, obviously. So if it is in the active spot, you can retreat, but you can't actually play it from your hand to use the ability. But if it is not in the active spot, then you can't actually retreat without a switch card. So that means it's actually quite difficult to pull off a V knockout on the first turn, but it's still possible. And on your second turn, you can already kill a VMAX. That's the main priority, is that we want to kill a V-Star VMAX with 1 hit using Widear V Zapdos combo. Okay, they have a pretty weird, kind of a, you know, an upgraded list for the old Surfetch Zapdos combo. They have 1 copy of the Galarian Zapdos V and 1 copy of Miltank with Oranguru as well, probably for Gutsy Pickaxe, and they got like Raihan Turbo Patch, I think, to add even more energies, and even a Galarian Breastplate for Galarian Zapdos because it only has 200 HP, quite weak. Zapdos actually dies pretty easily, so 200 HP is not a good card. It's not good for in terms of a V HP. A V card needs, you know, Stone Energy or something to help it survive another hit, like a Cape of Toughness at least. So they are playing Surfetch, which actually works for, works for the tool card. So that tool card is gonna help out with both Galarian Surfetch and also Galarian Zapdos in terms of reducing damage done to those Pokemons. So they can either choose to attach that tool card, the Galarian Chestplate, to either Surfetch or Zapdos, which is pretty cool. Galarian combo. Okay, we did Combustion Pillar again, I think. Because we're not able to do the knockout, might as well just gamble on the discard. I don't think we're getting it. Is so difficult because we only have 7 basic fire. And to get that fire energy at the top deck that early, I don't think it makes sense. Because we didn't even play a Recycler or Volcarona or even a Rod to put those energy cards back into the deck. There's no chance we're discarding a fire unless if we are super lucky. I'm not a very lucky person. So if I flip a coin, 9 times out of 10, I get a tails. I don't know why, just don't ask me why. Probably 8 times out of 10, I'm being pessimistic, but I always expect 9 times out of 10 just because I want to be prepared. I don't want to get, heartbroken. I don't want to get crushed. So I always be extra prepared and never flip coins unless I'm, cornered. And I absolutely have no choice but to. Like the first game, Ice Rider, we have no choice but to play the Candela to flip that coin. And I actually don't like playing that card just because it is a coin flip and it always screws me over if I play coin flip cards. But for some reason, we got pretty lucky with that supporter coin flip card. For quite a lot of games actually. I played quite a lot of games with Candela and like I got 1 or 2 heads with that card. I would say it's 50-50. The chances of me getting hits is 50-50 for that supporter as opposed to Crushing Hammer and other cards like that. So I think it's like 60-40. If you play a lot of games, it's 60-40. If you play for one day, it could be a really good day or a really bad day, depending. If it's a really bad day, I would really, I would get 0 heads with Crushing Hammer. 0 heads. I'm not joking. 0 heads for an entire day. I'm not joking, guys. 0 heads. If I'm having a very lucky day, if I'm well rested, normally if I'm well rested for some reason, the stars align and I get really good coin flip. I really, I don't know why, but everything just turns out right if I have some good rest. So every time you play a game, before you do that, before you get ready for something that's really important to you, make sure you get some good rest. Make sure you are healthy enough before you engage with that power activity or whatever, a competition or whatever. Make sure you get some good rest, get enough food, enough sleep, enough whatever, enough water in your system to get your system running, and then you actually can. It's gonna help you a lot. It's gonna help you attract positive energy, and positive energy includes good luck. I don't know why. Like, it makes no sense, but I don't think anything needs to make sense anymore. Just follow the rules and you'll be successful. Don't rest too much though. You'll be a lazy pig. Okay, I think I'm just gonna end the voiceover right here and leave you guys to focus on the gameplay. Today we're featuring the new Charizard from Pokemon Go with the amazing Burn Brightly ability, doubling up our firepower, and helping our Torkoal attack with Steam Crush for only 2 fire energies. And we also have our Drapion V in this deck, pulling off the Dark Patch Raihan combo for us to use Hazardous Claw and discarding only 1 fire to do the extra bonus effect of poisoning and paralyzing our opponent's active Pokemon every single turn. So all we need to do is attach a fire from our hand every single turn, or do an energy switch. If we don't have a fire anymore, we can do a trading card or a Magma Basin energy switch to reverse attach the fire energy for Hazardous Claw for that extra turn to buy us another turn. If they don't get their switch card, they can't actually attack. They need to do a double switch if they want to attack with the same VMAX or the same Pokemon in the active spot. They need to do they need to play a Scuba Net or something to basically attack again with the same Pokemon. So that's the power of paralyzing our opponent's active Pokemon every single turn with a powerful Hazardous Claw attack, but we're only playing 1 copy of that card just because we need 3 energies for the attack to work. So fire energy only acts as 2, fire energy is only doubled up. That means we need 1 more colorless in addition to the darkness energy for Hazardous Claw. That means we need 3 energies at least for Drapion to attack, and that is a lot. That's why we are slowly charging it up on the bench a little bit at a time while attacking with our Torkoal V until we are able to attack, until we are able to paralyze our opponent's Pokemon with Drapion, which is actually a really cool effect which we want to be using for this deck. And that's why we have our Torkoal, which is actually a really good card to use because we are discarding with disrupting our opponent, buying us a lot of time, every single turn while doing 120 damage, not bad. And we also have our choice belt to do even more damage for both our V cards. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, lovely people. Enjoy your life.